Welcome, ladies and gentlemen from all over the world. My name is Freek van Eyck and I'm Director of Holland Circular Hotspot, and I'm super excited to be your moderator of this Circular Climate Booster event. This event will feed in the World Circular Economy Forum plus Climate later this month. And the World Circular Economy Forum is, as you know, of course, the largest and most impressive circular economy event in the world, initiated by our friends from Citra. The session will be exciting, but can be even more exciting with your input. We need your input in the web chat. Share your emotions, your thoughts. If you don't agree with the speakers, please let us know. We have a specialized, dedicated team to answer all the questions. Now, what drives us today? The Minister for the Environment of the Netherlands, Ms. Tientje van Veldhoven, stated in a way that I can't possibly improve on. So I quote, "It's time to change the game. If we want to tackle climate change, we need to look beyond energy efficiency and move towards a circular economy. We have to stop wasting our resources, reuse our materials and turn them into new products. Together, we can close the loop to a circular economy, a necessity for climate neutrality by 2050. It's time for change." Now, earlier today, we had a webinar on textiles. The session now is on plastics. And there is a tremendous momentum for this topic of plastics. So we have to use this momentum. We have a packed program. Stay with us till the end because we have best practices from 4 continents, from every part of the world, from every part of the value chain. And these entrepreneurs will be very exciting. They will share their best practice, their lessons learned, their recommendations for others. We have 2 content guides with us. We have Jocelyn from the African Circular Economy Network, and we have David from UK-based REP. I'll be back with them later. To warm us all up, we have a short introduction video.
Plastic is an amazing invention, but it is also one of the largest environmental threats. Circular strategies have proven their potential to create climate-friendly solutions for the plastic industry. And best practices can be found all around the world, each one of them solving various steps of the value chain and reducing the carbon footprint. Think of 100% mechanically recycled food-grade bottles, simply eliminating plastics in the design phase of the value chain. Think also of new business models developing a logistic chain allowing for reuse of packaging while keeping it convenient and affordable for the consumer. Or of new models for demand and use, such as a refill model coming directly at the consumer's doorstep and leaving the choice of quantity to the consumer. But also of game-changing upcycling initiatives empowering local waste pickers, and closing the loop with innovating technologies allowing to transform all type of used plastics into virgin quality PET. All these separate initiatives can make a global impact. What are the conditions for change? The conditions for opportunities to scale, and for new collaborations to emerge.
Hello, David. Hello, hopefully, Jocelyn as well. So my takeaway from this video is more than just a sense of urgency. It's also hopeful because we see so many best practices from everywhere. But we need to increase impact, and that's exactly why we're here together, to see what's needed to have these best practices scale and how to start more best practices like this one. And for that, we need you. I will start with you, David. You are the head of International Resource Management at UK-based REP. Now, I know that REP is very active in the field of plastics internationally, so please tell something about the activities and your lessons learned so far in this journey.
Thank you. REP is a leading sustainability not-for-profit, tackling waste and carbon emissions, and we've been involved in creating a circular economy for plastics since the year 2000. We've been behind a number of key developments, including proving the case for food-grade recycled plastic, which we saw in the video just now. We launched the UK Plastics Pact in 2018, which has gone on to be the model for more than 10 plastics pacts around the world. These pacts aim to ensure that plastic that is placed on the market is 100% reusable or recyclable, that it's effectively collected and recycled, and that it's used again in new packaging. WRAP is actively involved in supporting these pacts and sees the same challenges arising many times. We also see how they can be overcome. What we've learned is that real change happens only when the whole system comes together to agree what the change should be and to embrace that change. It requires those who make plastic, who fill it with products, who sell it, use it, dispose of it, collect it and recycle it, plus the authorities who govern all of this, to come together, identify what needs to change and make that change. It requires innovation, legislation and collaboration. Innovations like the ones we will see today play a major part, and I applaud the entrepreneurs for their creativity and hard work.
Thanks, David. So I heard value chain collaboration, collaboration between public and private partners, innovation. Well, I think we'll hear more about that later if it's correct. What do you hope to get from this session today, listening to all the entrepreneurs from every part of the globe? What would be the best possible outcome for you?
Well, certainly learning from all of their experiences and seeing what is possible, the art of the possible, and also to find ways of joining up all the players in the value chain and all of us working on this topic around the world so that these innovations can be scaled up and so that circular use of plastic becomes just the default behavior.
Okay, I'm looking at the control room. Is Jocelyn already with us? Not yet. So, David, as an introduction, you worked outside the UK and outside Europe as well. What are your experiences with plastics in emerging countries? What would be, what are your observations there? What's different?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. We do work across sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, India, and across the Pacific. And one thing that I've learned is that emerging markets really show an incredible willingness and desire to tackle this issue. In fact, they often encounter plastic in the environment in a much more direct way than we do in Europe. It affects their livelihoods, their health, their homes directly, causing flooding, fires, and so on, which can be extremely damaging. One thing I've learned is that often a very major part in fixing the system in those countries is to garner the efforts of the informal sector, as we'll see from Mr. Green Africa later. By doing that, you can bring material into a more formalized recycling system. And that enables investment to be made in facilities which can take that material, recycle it, and put it back into the market in a useful way. And the range of uses can be anything from building materials to new packaging. There's really so much potential. And what's really rewarding is just seeing how engaged countries are in tackling this issue.
So you, as Jocelyn is still not there, so I keep, let's say, discussing with you. You talked about plastic packs, international plastic packs. Have you seen this happening outside Europe as well? And can you give an example?
Yes, so there are 10 plastics pacts currently launched, and they cover the globe. There are 4 in Europe. There's a European continent-wide plastic pact to which WRAP provides a secretariat. There's really well-established plastic pacts in South Africa, in Chile, in the USA, Canada, and others about to launch in India, Kenya, Senegal, and a regional pact for Australia and the Pacific region. And what we've learned from all of these is that when you bring together all of the different parts of the value chain, with all of the knowledge they have about their specific area, and you look at the whole journey of a piece of plastic from beginning to end and back to the beginning again, that's where you can really identify what changes need to be made. And by having all those people together, you can pick the person who has the power to make that change, whether it's government or an innovation, an adaptation of a new business model. So much power in that collaboration model. And we've seen some examples. So in the UK, where the Plastic Pact has been running the longest, we can point to at least 2 billion items that have been either taken off the market completely or that were not recyclable before and now are. And that makes a huge impact in the environment. You can imagine doing that at scale in countries like India, sub-Saharan African countries, where that material ends up directly in the environment. The impact of removing that and putting it into a recycling system could be extremely powerful indeed.
Thanks for that. I think that's very insightful. We want to know let's say, how we can stimulate the value chain to work together, what's needed from businesses, also from government. Can you maybe mention a few areas of attention that we want the speaker to touch upon, like regulation, market development, collaboration? Can you warm them up a little bit?
Yes. So the system works best when there is plastic is only used where it's absolutely necessary. So innovations which remove the need for so much plastic in the first place are really important. It'd be interesting to see how we could scale that up and make it easy for the day-to-day consumer who, let's admit they may be a little bit lazy. So let's see how can they use things like Loop and Algramo in a day-to-day way so that we can all make it part of our lives. And then for that plastic which is still necessary and does a good job in protecting our food and medicines, how do we create that so that it can be collected and recycled and turned back into new material? What are the barriers to doing that? Sometimes it's legislation, sometimes it's just practicality and the technology doesn't exist. So is there innovation? Is there investment that needs to be made to make that much easier to do?
Okay. Now, thanks. I just heard that Jocelyn is with us again. So let's give her 2 or 3 minutes of quality time as well. Jocelyn, you made it. Thank you. Hello there. We can't hear you yet. Turn up the volume, unmute.
Oh,
Hello.
okay. Thank you, Amir.
Hi, Jocelyn. Do you have in 2 minutes, let's say, some background on yourself, African Circular Economy Network, and the topic of plastics in Africa?
Okay, I'm Jocelyn Landry-Tona from Cameroon. I am a Cameroonian and based in Cameroon. And I am an executive team member of the African Circular Economy Network. I am an environmentalist and natural resource management consultant with over 7 years experience. And I also own my own eco-friendly housing construction company. So that's a brief about me. And the African Circular Economy Network is registered as a non-profit organization in South Africa. So currently we have chapters in roughly 30 African countries. So we're covering like all the sub-regions in Africa. And so what we do is the African Circular Economy Network is like a one-stop shop for circular economy in Africa. So we try to bring on board all stakeholders involved in the circular economy transition to circular economy to see how we can better succeed a sustainable transition to circular economy in Africa. So about plastics in Africa. So what I would like to say is the context here in Africa is quite different from that of the West because we know Africans most of them do not live in luxury. And so they have been practicing circular economy forever, like for a long time. So if we want to talk about plastics, for instance, we do not, Africans do not have the waste culture like the other parts of the world. But what we are facing like a major problem for plastic in Africa now is that of packaging and the single-use packaging, whether it be PET bottles or packaging for fruits and other shopping bags, plastic shopping bags. So those are the major one causing us like some problems or some environmental and climate-related issues. So we have few countries in Africa with plastic, single-use plastic ban policies like Kenya, Rwanda, and also Cameroon, where I come